Hello, everybody. We are in the presence of the third artist that is featured in the Journal art program. She is Chanelle Walshe, and she presented her work, her painting Sun. So let me know the meaning and of your painting because it's curious to see how you connected the sun. So something external to our body with our human brain.
Recently, I've wanted to push my work in a much more abstract direction, and I didn't want to rely so much on my source material. And it's interesting with the COVID-19 pandemic, I've been forced into an area of experimentation, and I made that painting just early this year, just very shortly before all of this isolation kicked off. And I started by using a drawing which I had made at the Berlin Museum of Medical History. And that drawing was made looking at a piece of brain tissue, which was preserved in formaldehyde. And the way it's displayed at the museum is under very flat lighting, and there's not much contrast and there's not much color. So my imagination really is forced to essentially bring it to life. And that painting, Sun, is oil on canvas, and the form itself on first look looks quite pale and white, but if you examine it, there's quite a lot of color underneath, and there's a lot of layering of paint. And I was thinking about how essentially the specimen is dead. It's a piece of human tissue, but I was kind of thinking, like, does anything ever really die? I mean, just for it to be frozen in time, it had to be put in formaldehyde. And if it wasn't, it would continue to decay. So decay is a part of the process of life, really. And I enjoyed making it, and I think the reason why I called it Sun was I was just thinking about surface activity that we can't see. And it's just very coincidental that I finished it quite close to this time, because we're now living through an era where there's something in the air, there's something on surfaces that we can't see. We're quite threatened by it. But yeah, I mean, that piece, I think it's a jump forward for me because it's quite experimental and very abstract. So I'm quite happy with how it turned out.
Thank you. And how is continue your practice in this time that of isolation that you have to stay at home and you cannot go in your studio? So how you are still working on your paintings, drawings, and research?
Yeah, it's I've been forced into research actually, and the quiet time and the stillness is interesting. I'm doing a lot of drawing and works on paper, working with like watercolors, pastels. Um, I have a big kitchen table and I'm working there most of the time. And it's quite nice to be in a place where I don't have to have a plan, really. I don't know where this work is going to go. I don't know when I'll show it, if I'll show it, but it allows a lot of freedom to explore and to let my imagination really go. And as I said, I had always intended to move towards more abstract territories in my work, and to move away from a reliance on museums and on objects. And now I'm just observing form much more. and spending time in nature.
Mm.
And it's a really good time to reevaluate my practice, to just review and process a few things. And then the other thing that's really interesting is I feel very connected to artists and curators and people in the art community online. I'm having really good conversations, and I feel that there is an atmosphere of support and solidarity amongst Irish artists, that we are looking out for each other. Um, and I'm quite happy to just embrace this time of patience and awareness, and really try to use it as a time for growth within my creativity, and see where it takes me. But it's the first time. I mean, I've been a painter for 10 years. I graduated 10 years ago, and it's the first time in my career where there's no plan,
Yes.
and there's no real deadline.
Thank you so much for having accepted my invitation to take part at this project, and thank you so much
Yeah,
again,
thank you.
and see you
Thanks for the
soon.
opportunity.
Thank
Very nice
you.
to connect. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks.